So your biggest risk as a student is if you become disabled.
Yeah.
You have the rest of your life and now you can do nothing. So there's a student disability policy that you can take out. It's really not very expensive. When you buy a vehicle on finance, they will not release the vehicle to you unless you have insured it. And again,
They'll bully you.
they'll bully you at the dealership and say, no, they'll give you preferential rates. Not true.
How do we get South Africans as a whole to understand that insurance is important? It is worth putting that 10 Rand aside or that 50 Rand aside every single month. Welcome back to Zap Talks, the podcast brought to you by Zap Hub, the most safe, trusted, and verified platform and ecosystem in all of South Africa. I'm bringing you a brand new guest today. One of my favorite people in South Africa, I will say. You got that title. Love Sophia. Sophia has been in the insurance industry for 39 years.
Yes, indeed. And I'm 21 till I die.
I know. I stopped aging at 21 too. So you are in a world of unpredictable risks, from storms to accidents. She is a strategic partner in ensuring that when life happens, we have someone in our corner. From claims and compliance to company secretarial work, you are a true superhero in the insurance industry. You're a qualified personal trainer.
I am.
And a Pilates instructor. You were or are a netball coach still?
I was. I've
Okay.
actually given that up. I had a club.
And you are an endurance athlete.
I do love insurance. I do love cycling, so mountain biking in particular. So, yes, doing a race in February, and I'm super looking forward to it.
Just everything, like whenever someone sends me their bio, like reading it back to them, does it ever make you go, oh my God, I do a lot of things?
Yeah, sometimes.
Or do you go, I can do more?
No, I know I can't do any more than what I'm currently doing.
So you're the founder of Insure Safe Advisors, and your slogan is the brokerage who cares about you.
Yes.
So please welcome Sophia Butha from Insurance Safe Advisors. Now let's get into insurance about you.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that even mean?
So the reason why our slogan is the broker who cares about you is because nowadays you pick up the phone, you phone an insurance company or a broker. They have no idea who you are. Every time you phone back, for example, if you have a claim, you have to explain your whole story all over again, talk to a different consultant, get a reference number. We are not like that. We are dynamic, small. We know who you are. We have your numbers all on all our phones. Staff are fully trained. We talk to each other every day. We know who you are and we care about you.
And you're not going to give me an insurance policy I don't need.
Absolutely not.
And then if new things come out, you're the first to call your customers and say, this is perfect for you. Let's move you.
Absolutely. We actually do a little educational email every month that we send out just to educate people around insurance and what's happening, anything new, anything that's changed in the insurance environment, anything that's dynamic that clients might want to look at. And particularly if one client has got a policy with a particular underwriter and something has changed, we will send a bulletin out to say, hey, this has changed. Do you want to up? Do you want to do something, etc.? So, yeah, we really care about our clients. They're important to us. They are meaningful to us, and we know them, to the point where sometimes we actually get to know them on a personal level.
Like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been in every single position, from owning a business to company secretary. What would you say is the number one thing people need to know about insurance?
The number one thing, well, it depends what sort of insurance you have. So on the personal line side, something that is super important is if you're insuring your building or your contents. You cannot just suck a value and think, this is correct. Because what inevitably happens is if you are underinsured, the insurers apply something called average. So let's say, for example, you should be insured for R1 million, but you're only insured for 500,000, so that you are 50% underinsured. Let's say you have a 50,000 Rand claim. They are only going to pay 50% of your claim. So you will get 25,000 Rand less whatever your excess is. So it's super important, rather over-insure then underinsure, because at claim stage, that's where it matters the most.
No, and a lot of people think that insurance is if it ever happens to me.
Yeah.
I have family members that don't have insurance because, if it happens, it happens. But it does happen.
Yep.
So you talked about personal insurance on the house, even with regards to, life insurance.
Yep.
You never want to think, damn it, I wish I had life insurance. But it's
Correct.
expensive. So what do people do when they know they should have it, but they can't afford to get it? Like, what do they do?
Life insurance is slightly different. It's also like commercial short-term insurance. That's like business insurance. It's different because on life, you're not actually insuring an item per se. You're insuring yourself against death or disability or whatever the situation is. Temporary disability, income protected, there's many things. We deal with a company called BrightRock. They are super innovative. We work with your current lifestyle. So for example, it's inexpensive, premiums are guaranteed for 10 years, and it works with, let's say for example, you're now a student. So your biggest risk as a student is if you become disabled.
Yeah.
You have the rest of your life and now you can do nothing. So there's a student disability policy that you can take out. It's really not very expensive. And now you've finished studying and now you get married. Now you've got a spouse. And the two of you go and you buy a home. So now you've got outstanding debt. Because why are you taking out life insurance? You're taking out life insurance to actually help you with your debt or help you if you have children. So now you readjust your insurance and you take out life insurance around the value of the bond. Because if you pass away, you don't want your spouse left with the debt. You can actually move your insurance as and when you need it. So now you have children. Now you need an educational policy for your children. You can take on an educational policy. So BrightRock is a very innovative way of getting out what we call long-term insurance. And it can be adapted. You can take less. You can say, okay, I can only afford a premium of this much. And this is the type of cover we will give you. And we can then formulate cover around that.
Something is better than nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So your personal motto is follow your passion and purpose. How did your passions for cycling, coaching, Pilates actively shape your philosophy for insurance?
I've always had a passion. I don't do anything unless I'm passionate about it. Because I believe if you're not passionate about it, you will not give it 100%. So what happened to me is many years ago, because I'm an avid cyclist, I actually had a cycling accident. And when I looked around the market, I realized there's only one particular competitor and they have the whole market. So I then designed a product called Pedal Guard, and that's how the brokerage actually started. We designed a product for cyclists, which insured their bicycle, which gave them a bit of medical cover, a bit of disability cover, and that's how I actually started with InsureSafe advisors.
Oh, wow, okay.
We then progressed because of the exercise background and the passion that I have for that. We then progressed into doing a professional indemnity product for fitness professionals. It's still ongoing.
Wow.
So I really believe in personalizing things. What makes us different as well is that we can do a personal product for a group. We can create products. So we're not like the average, normal, independent broker.
Well, what's so cool about that too is, a lot of people forget, and this actually happened to my sister. She was a massage therapist, and she slammed her hand in a car.
Oh, no.
And she couldn't work for 6 weeks.
Yep.
And she
Loss of
didn't.
income.
Yeah, she had no support for her and her family for that entire 6 weeks recovery. Especially, thank God she wasn't the breadwinner, but at the same time, they fully relied on her income to help support the family. So it made me think, it would be so cool if a brokerage like you existed where massage therapists or anyone that works with their hands can go approach you and say, our company wants to have a collective insurance policy to insure our employees' hands, or, is that something you guys could do?
We actually have what we call a personal accident policy, which we do for people that are self-employed.
Okay.
And whilst it's only for personal accident and illness, it's not like the generic life one. It's not very expensive. It works in bands of income. And for example, with your sister that slammed her hands and couldn't work, she would have been paid out for each month and each day that she was unable to work. In actual fact, we've had a cycling coach recently that had a cycling accident and broke his whole arm and elbow and everything, and he's out of action for 6 weeks, and we've just paid him for 6 weeks worth of income so that he can actually just pay all his bills and continue with his business.
Absolutely, because it absolutely devastates families.
Yeah.
So you're also Greek,
I am.
a pianist,
I am.
and a singer are the things I'm learning about my guest. So how do these artistic, cultural layers influence your communications and relationship building in this industry?
Yeah, I think it just helps me have an open, creative mind to things. You know, like the designing of insurance products. I think when you are slightly artistic or you have an artistic flair, it helps in just opening up your mind and being a little bit more creative. You know, I suppose I'm not really off the wall, but I do think through things differently. And I do enjoy it. You know, I like that creative side. I do like going to the arts and theatre and watching a show every now and again.
Well, you know, it's really cool because a lot of the guests that we've had, like when you look at their overall passions and interests, I mean, they may not have anything to do with anything, but it's fully shaped what kind of person they are in their career and how they look at the things that they're looking at. So, for instance, I mean, there wouldn't be a policy for cyclists if you didn't yourself have an accident and go, oh, we need to trigger this. So let's get on to the full decoding insurance, because everyone thinks insurance is for the wealthy.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. I mean, and I say this to my sister who is going to watch this podcast. I'm going to make her. Insurance.
Contact me, sister.
Yes. Insurance is not something that any of us want to think about.
Yeah.
It really is, you know, death and taxes. Like we don't want to debate about it. We don't want to talk about it. But I mean, even as a single mom, I think I'm not going to die. Of course, I would never want to, but it's not like you get a choice in these matters. Protecting the people moving forward from your life, whether you are a mom, whether you are a business owner, whether you have a dog, you know, what happens to the things that you've created? And sure, you'll be dead. No, you don't care anymore. But I even hear apparently, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, in South Africa, if a spouse dies in debt or if a family member dies in debt, they could come after the family for that money.
Correct.
And that would suck. You know, you just died, I have to grieve your death, and now I have to pay your bloody bills as well.
Absolutely.
You know, so how do we get South Africans as a whole to understand that insurance is important? It is worth putting that 10 Rand aside or that 50 Rand aside every single month just to ensure there's at least some protection, because no one wants to slam their hands. Nobody wants to be in these situations, but it happens. And that one time you needed it, that's the time you're going to have it happen to you.
Yep.
So what would your advice be?
My advice, and I need to just unpack it individually. So we are also liability specialists. So my advice to a consumer is, if you've bought something and if it burns down, for example, on the personal lines or the commercial side, if it burns down to the ground today, can you afford to fix it? Replace it,
self-insure,
or or buy it again. If you can, then you know what, insurance is not for you.
Yeah.
If you cannot, and it's a structure, a building, cameras, machinery, equipment, whatever it may be, cars, motorcycles, boats, then you need to insure it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot put yourself back in a position. For example, Cape Town. A couple of years ago, there was a massive fire on Table Mountain. And there were a lot of older people that had paid off their homes and decided that there's no risk because they're not going to get broken into. There's no risk, so they're not going to insure the house. The house went down to the ground.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, they did not have money to rebuild those homes. So
because their house is their retirement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to think about it logically. You don't have to, for example, if you insure your home or your business and you feel that there's no theft risk, you don't have to take out theft. You can actually segment it. You just need to talk to a person, a broker that can give you the proper advice that you need.
Who cares?
Who cares about you?
Yeah, it was a good time.
So I think, the rule of thumb on the short-term side is you need to look at it like that. Can your business sustain a loss? You have something called loss of profits, which is if your business closes down today, let's say the building burns down, can you relocate tomorrow and can you carry on operating? If you are a retail store, you cannot. So you need a loss of profits or business interruption policy.
Yeah.
That pays you out your fixed costs around when you are unable to operate. On the life side, it's slightly different. On the life side, you need to look at what is your outstanding debt? Can I take a policy out that will leave my family not indebted and people coming out after them? So do you have a bond? Do you have a car that's
Car loan,
financed?
yeah.
Do you have a business? Are there
Credit card debt.
Do you have credit card debt? Is there anything in your business where you bought, printers, 3D printers, machines, laptops, whatever, that you still owe, that you're paying off? Those things must be insured.
Yeah.
Those are the critical things that you need to look at. If you are the breadwinner, take on an income protector, because if something happens to you, how will you live? How will you live? You don't think about it now because we're always in a position where we're always healthy. It's just that moment. You could be in a car accident, not your fault. Somebody runs into you and you're in hospital for 3 months. How will your family survive? So those are, I would say, the most critical things that you should look at within your life. Is where are you at? How much debt do you have outstanding? Can you replace it based on your own income and your own revenue or not? And start small.
Well, there's even a simple thing like funeral insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, I recently, I think one of my workers, their brother died.
Yes.
It cost them 25,000 rand to bury him.
Yep.
And they had to beg, borrow, and steal to get money to bury this person, which is just horrific. But we don't think about it. Funerals, all these things are so
super expensive.
So and the funny thing is, I thought about it, it's not funny, it's death. But what are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
Do they just throw the body out in the water? What if you cannot find the 25,000? What happens to these family members of yours? Do you know what I mean? And to think that, you're dead, it doesn't bother you, but at the same time, your family now has the stress of grief, the stress of figuring out what to do with your body, and to put you down humanely and in a way that is according to your religion or your beliefs. And it's just that simple. So even if you can't get insurance on your car or insurance on your health or insurance on your house, get insurance on something that is meaningful to the next people,
Funeral cover is actually very interesting. We do that as well.
Yeah.
Funeral cover, you can actually take out for yourself. You can take out for yourself and your spouse or partner.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can take out for your grandparents.
I'm taking out funeral coverage for my whole bloody family because I'm going to have to do that.
You can take out for your mother and your father, etc.
Really?
You can take out for your kids, your aunts, your uncles. There are some vast arrays of different types of funeral covers that you can actually take out. And you can cover multiple people. What's wonderful about that is that they also do, certain funeral covers also give you airtime, because often in the instance that you are discussing, what happens? How are you supposed to arrange everything when
you can't even afford the funeral, let alone the data?
Now you have to get airtime, and you have to get. They also provide groceries.
What?
There's a
chef does that.
No, I'm actually not a chef, unless I can.
But you're the broker that cares.
Well, there we go. I'll have to cook. So and there's different types of portfolios in terms of the funeral packages that we have. We also have a legal product that can protect you legally for your business or personally. So,
I got to talk about that one.
There are many products around there. There's a directors and officers liability product. We do contractors or risk products for contractors, builders, people that are in the industry of building buildings, electricians, plumbers, defective workmanship. So it is a very, very, very broad subject.
Yeah, and this is the misconception. People think it's just life insurance, house insurance, car insurance.
Yeah, no.
But you could literally insure anything.
Correct.
And if they can't, then they come to you and you find the product for them. I do have a question with regards to funeral insurance, because this has come up quite a few times among my staff, because it's expensive, right? Could a community get together and insure each other and save cost on that?
They call that a stockfell, and yes, we can actually do stockfells for them, believe it or not. We have a partner that does that. So the way that it works is that there is a risk if they do it themselves, because often what happens is the person pockets the money and it's gone.
Yep.
But what happens is one individual is appointed as kind of the head. And every month each person contributes to that person. And if there is a death in that community that's been contributing, then that certain amount that's been collected gets paid out for that funeral. So it's called a stockfell in South Africa.
Okay.
And yes, it is possible, and yes, it is something that the communities do, and it is an insurable thing as well.
100%. Well, that's pretty amazing.
Churches also do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the property practitioner industry. So in Canada, real estate agents or property practitioners were required to have a $5 million insurance policy in the event that we did something negative that destroyed the value of the house, or something was lied. So in South Africa, I mean, we do have the Fidelity Fund certificate, but with the state of property in this country, no one can get hold of anyone at the regulatory authority. So there really is nothing to be done. And it's always been something I wanted to talk to you about, but starting an insurance fund for property practitioners, so that if there is any risk with them or their client, because right now they take you to court. Civilly, they will take you to court. So starting a insurance policy for property practitioners that is more viable and useful in our industry.
For property practitioners, I would need to understand the environment a little bit more holistically, but my understanding is that you would provide advice to someone to say, listen, I believe that your home is worth X. You need to do X, Y, Z to your home to actually get the value up a little bit more. Otherwise, we can sell it for less, etc., etc. So that would be termed as advice. So when you have anybody that gives any form of advice that is a professional, it would fall under the ambit of professional indemnity. Okay. There is a professional indemnity policy, a generic one, and there's one for property practitioners that one can take out. However, if there is a body, one could revisit the body and possibly do a group scheme for that body. Clearly, when there's more people involved and there's numbers, it becomes cheaper. Whereas if it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 property practitioners, we would then have to send a proposal form out.
Well, the reason why I asked that too is because obviously property practitioners, in the event, like for instance, I was sick, you can't work, you have to work because there's no who's going to do your job for you, and then you're not earning an income. So with regards to property practitioners, there's not just the risk of getting sued for giving bad advice. There's the risk of lying, which, and should be insured for, but also if the seller didn't disclose something and then it comes back, well, we should have known. Like, there's so many risks that come involved with it, but not just that. I mean, if I get sick, it's very, very difficult. I don't think I've taken a day off in 25 years of my life because I do my job. No one else does my job. I'm the one in charge of selling that house. And if I don't do my job, I don't get paid, they'll go to someone else. So having an insurance policy for property practitioners where they get to be sick, they get to take time off work because we are self-employed. If you know about my back and how bad it was, oh well, suck it up and get back to work, because being off for 3-4 months is just not a possibility. Even when I had my shoulder surgery, I'm not taking time off work. I have to go work. So having an insurance policy for property practitioners where in the event that there is issues like that, because right now property practitioners have no coverage whatsoever. Is there a policy in South Africa that property practitioners can look into in that realm if collectively we all come together?
I'm not aware of anything currently. I would need to just do a bit of research and have a look. But the way that I would see it, just based on what you're saying, is one of two things. Either you do a professional indemnity policy with liability cover, public liability cover. And what public liability cover is, let's say you're in someone's home and I don't know, you break a vase, or you fall over and you break a table or a glass table.
Yeah, there's that too.
It will
Yeah.
cover all of that.
Yeah.
Around the advice, if you've given advice and they're alleging that your advice was incorrect and they come after you, it will the PR will cover you around that. Around the loss of income and sickness and that ambit, you would need to look at that income protection policy that I spoke about, the short-term one, or you would need to look at taking something through BrightRock, sort of a longer period type one, which would fall under the life scheme. The concern I have around that is that a lot of companies that we deal with don't do both.
Okay, so it would have to be a mix and match situation.
Correct. So it would have to be something that we would need to approach, possibly the company that does this personal accident policy, looking at maybe doing something combined there.
So building it from scratch.
Yes, correct.
Well,
otherwise,
like I said,
it would be two policies.
Well, it's so funny that you say that, because I went to show a house and I thought my car was in reverse. It was in drive, and I smashed their inverter.
Oh, no.
Came out of my pocket. And then I thought about going to the insurance company and claiming it through that for the car insurance. But then with car insurance, you also couple accidents and they start to jack up your policies and stuff like that. So
they do,
yeah. So, I mean, we'll definitely have to chat about this. And guys, I'm going to keep you posted for property practitioners who are in the same situation as me and never get to take a day off, never get to go to surgery, never get to be sick. Emergencies, nothing exists for us, because you have to perform your job, and without performing that job, there is no, exactly like every other business, but more very, very involved with property practitioners, because there's very few people to turn to.
Yes.
Okay, so let's demystify things. For the average person, insurance is a grudge purchase.
Yes.
Nobody wants
goes
it
out and says, "Yay, I'm buying insurance."
Yeah, nobody calls their family and says, "Whoa, guys, I got to go celebrate. I have life insurance." So, what is the biggest misconception people have about short-term insurance that you have to constantly correct?
Please don't cut out the broker. I know there was an ad at one of the direct insurers that said, "Cut out the broker and pay less." You do not pay less. The commission that we earn is already embedded in your premium. It's not an additional thing.
They get to keep it.
What happens with the direct market is that they have this huge direct marketing budget. And instead of paying brokers commission, which is minuscule, they then sink it into their marketing budget.
Sneaky.
So please don't think that cutting out the broker makes it cheaper. It doesn't. It actually makes it more expensive for you. Because at claim stage, you have no one that will fight for you and that knows how to advise you, what to say when you're putting in a claim, what information you need, and how not to prejudice yourself when you are putting a claim in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biggest advice I can give you around that.
Well, I mean, my broker on my health insurance policy, we had to go to Discovery and fight with them because they hadn't been giving me any of the money back. And thank God I had her, because she investigated the entire thing and literally went with them to a number and say, "You haven't paid this and this and this and this." And obviously I have a busy life, so I didn't even notice. I was never actually getting paid out until someone had to help me on that. So yeah, it's basically like having someone just be your guardian angel more than anything else. Because if someone dies, if your house burns down, the last thing you want to do is be fighting with people. Let your broker fight for you. So you talk about educating individuals. What is the one piece of essential insurance knowledge that every South African homeowner, car owner must know, but most don't?
One, when you buy a house, the bank always bullies you to take a policy out with them. You do not need to take a policy out with them. You can come to us. We can do the insurance, and we give you something called a confirmation of cover letter, which you send to the bank. And every year we issue you with a confirmation of cover letter, and the bank is happy. That's the first thing. You must note the bank's interest on your insurance policy. You must tell your broker when the finance starts and when it ends, how long the term is. And the same thing with the car. When you buy a vehicle on finance, they will not release the vehicle to you unless you have insured it. And again,
they'll bully you.
They'll bully you at the dealership and say, no, they'll give you preferential rates. Not true. We can do standalone car insurance as well. However, if you insure contents and building or contents and car or building and car, it reduces your car insurance premium. So the more insurance you can put on, the better it is for you. That's the best advice I can give you.
Well, and this is why I was going to meet with you anyway. So we decided let's just do it as a podcast as well, because I've actually been with insurance company now since the moment I bought this house. They have never once called me back to find out all of the renovations I've done. So I guarantee I'm underinsured right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know the first step to getting the right policies out. So I remember Sophia's husband is an electrician, and he's the one that fixed my whole house, and I talk about him on a lot of my podcasts. And so we have this new CIC that he gave me, and no one's asked for it. Not a single insurance company. So like it's infuriating, because I spent 1.7 million renovating my entire house from top to bottom. Pretty sure I'm underinsured at this point. But I don't even know the first step to go figure out what needs to be done. So I'm going to be joining Sophia, because Sophia needs to get all of my accounts in order. But what is the point of having an insurance policy if no one follows up on you?
That is not good. Let me just say that. However, your broker or your insurer is supposed to follow up with you every year. They are supposed to send you a renewal, and they're supposed to say, listen, please let us know.
I get that in an email, but that's it.
Has anything changed on your policy? Have you done anything differently, etc., etc.? And that's the difference, Bronwyn.
Yeah.
That's the difference, because I will be in touch with you for other things.
Yeah.
And I will be talking to you. And when your renewal comes up, I'll be sending it to you, and I'll say, listen, do you want to meet so we can just run through everything again?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at everything. Just back to the point of your COC. They won't ask you for it now. But the moment you have a claim, best you better believe that they will be asking you for that.
Absolutely.
And best believe that if you're underinsured, they will be applying that average term that I spoke about earlier on.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. And I pay a lot in insurance, because when I first moved to South Africa, I didn't have a history with driving.
Correct, yes.
So I think I pay 4,200 Rand a month for car insurance.
Yeah.
I would think by now, after the time I've been here, that policy would be a little bit less.
Have you had any accidents?
No.
Or any claims?
I did have a claim, I lied, but someone hit me. So I don't know if that changes. I don't actually know anything about this country insurance.
There's also a misnomer around insurance. A lot of people approach us, and they're super unhappy with their insurer or their broker because they're paying too much premium. But in the last 3 years, they've had 10 claims.
Oh, well, yeah.
So it's insurers take something called a loss ratio. The way that a loss ratio works is they take the total. Let's say you've been with them for 12 months and you pay 1,000 Rand a month. Okay? They take that 1,000 Rand, they times it by 12, which gives you 12,000 Rand, and that's the premium revenue that they've made. Well, actually, it's not, but let's just say that is.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of reserving that happens back end. But now you have a claim in year one. It's not
25,000 Rand. Yeah.
It's not blame orientated. Okay?
Yeah.
Whether you get
so
hit,
they don't care about who the accident is.
They don't care.
Oh, no.
If you get hit by someone else and it's their fault, you've got 30,000 Rands damage. Now, you must remember, they've only collected 12,000 Rands worth of premium. But now you've got a 30,000 Rand claim. So actually, they're in a deficit.
But wouldn't the other person's insurance have paid for that?
Not always.
Oh.
We've had an instance now recently where one of our clients' car was parked outside his home on his property. He wasn't in the vehicle and someone reversed into him. It was a 30,000 Rand claim, and the insurers accepted a 10,000 Rand payment. So it's
and
not
then that
blame
screws
fault.
up your policy.
Exactly.
Oh, for God's
Exactly.
sakes.
So
yeah.
that's how insurers work. And if your loss ratio is high, if it's over 60%, they take the premium and they divide it by the claims that you've had, and they get to a loss ratio.
Oh,
and if
so
your
mine's
loss ratio is
probably
high,
still going to be high. Okay.
then they do penalize you. They do increase your premium. Sometimes they add additional excesses. And
Well,
that's
here
where
I
we
thought
come in.
because the other guy was at fault, his insurance would have covered the whole thing. But
Look, if there was a full recovery, then it takes
Yeah.
your claim back to nil, and then obviously they don't penalize you. Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Well, how would I even know what
They should have
agreed
told
to?
you.
Oh, no.
We're the brokers that always go back to our clients and say, listen, the third party was paid, X, or you had a full refund as your excess.
Just again,
So when you're moving, Bronwyn?
no, 110%. So, okay, so Zap Hub Connection. So trust is a core value in our company on the platform. In an industry sometimes marred by claim disputes, how do you build and maintain irrefutable trust with a client, especially after a major loss?
We are always open and transparent, and we take them through the whole process. We tell them at what stage the claim is, when the claim happens. We inform them what needs to happen, what we need in order to get that claim through. We've had clients that cars have been written off, claims have been settled in 2 days because we've had all the information. We will talk you through the process. If that claim is not covered right from the word go, we will tell you. We will explain to you why we believe it's not covered. If you still feel that you want to put a claim in, you are welcome to put that claim in. We will follow that process. But we've only had so far, since 2007 to date, we've had one claim where we've disputed on behalf of the client and taken it to the Ombud for the client and won. The client was then paid out over 200,000 Rand.
Good.
So we've had no formal disputes against us to date. And I believe that's what sets us apart. We phone the clients, we email the clients, and we hold their hand throughout the entire process.
Well, it always comes down to how do you want to be treated, treat other people that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I mean, I went on to Pineapple to see if my insurance would come down, but then I thought, I've had so many problems in South Africa with people being transparent and discussing things with me, especially, yes, I'm South African, but I haven't lived here in so long. I don't know how these things work.
Yes.
I'm used to a completely different system. So it's frustrating because no one walks me through the process. They just expect me to know because of my age and who I am. And it's like, I don't understand how things work here. Please pretend I don't know anything. You treat me like a little baby, you know. So the client's journey from risk to resilience. Your ideal client is a high net worth individual or a business owner. What are the complex, often overlooked risks that clients face that a standard policy simply doesn't cover?
Maintenance. In a nutshell, whether it's commercial policy or personal lines policy, the liability side is a little bit more complex, but a lot of people have homes or businesses that they insure the structures. But inevitably what happens is they let go of the property because they get busy or because they maybe don't have the financial wherewithal or the right people in place, particularly roofs. And then there's a storm and there's a claim, and the claim gets rejected because of lack of maintenance. On the personal line side of things, also maintenance. But also not being able to prove ownership, because when you have a claim, if you haven't sent through an inventory list, now all of a sudden you're claiming for this 50,000 Rand TV and you can't prove that you actually bought it or owned it, it becomes problematic.
This is where we had talked about the virtual tours becoming a major thing. So I have my house virtually toured with all of my documents in it.
Perfect.
And I did this just because if I died, like my son has so many medical issues, there's so many things that someone would be lost trying to tackle.
Yes.
So I did this just to make like a file for him and a live viewing of everything. And if the house had to burn down, you can't tell me I didn't have that, because here's a virtual tour that I sent you. So if you didn't check to see it wasn't in there, then that's on you. So
the other thing that we've also seen recently is that clients have got laptops and cell phones, etc., on their policies on the personal line side. And what's been happening is the values have been coming down. And every couple of months we send a broadcast out, remember to check values. Unfortunately, that's not our responsibility. Clients need to check values of items because they're paying for a 30,000 Rand laptop, but that laptop now
it's 10,000.
Is only a 10,000 Rand laptop. Then they have a claim and they expect to get 30,000 Rand. And unfortunately, that's not the way that it works.
It's very true. It's very true. So that person who, let's say, insured it for 30,000, would they then update you and say, okay, it's not only worth 10,000 now, so don't even bother insuring it for 30?
Yes, they should be.
Yeah.
They should be coming back to us and saying it's reduced in value. Please only insure it for 10,000 Rand now, or it's obsolete. We no longer need cover. What happens in a loss is the insurer will try and put you back because maybe that laptop's obsolete. They'll try and put you back in a position with a similar type laptop. And that laptop will inevitably not be 30,000 Rand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So can you walk us through the process of a legit claim?
What type of claim?
Okay, let's say house burns down.
House burns down. Okay, so
Not because of electrical.
No, my husband didn't do the CRC. So let's say a house burns down. So we will then get the phone call and say, oh my goodness, my house is alight. We will then phone the assist section of the policy and we'll get somebody out. We'll try and get somebody out immediately, but probably by then there's a fire brigade that's gone out, they've put the fire out, right? Client will then have nowhere to stay, they will have no clothes, they will have nothing. So part of that building cover would be that they will be able to go and rent or stay at a hotel or another facility, and the insurance company will actually refund them. They will help them get clothes, etc., etc. So we will then start with that process. We will go, if the client is close, we'll go out to them. If they're not close, we can do a virtual call with them, or we will then email them and say, please, either you need to complete a claim form, or we'll phone them and say, okay, we need to submit this claim. Can we get this information from you? When did it happen? What time did it happen? Was it your house? Do you know how it happened? So we will then gather as much information as we can. We will also ask for photographs of what's happened.
Yeah.
That's critical.
Yeah.
From there, we will then contact the insurance company. We will then say, listen, this is what's happened. Here are the photos. We've either registered a claim or here is a claim form. Please, can you send someone out immediately? They will then someone out, probably a forensic person and a loss adjuster, that will go out to the premises and try and establish how the fire happened. From there, it will come back. There will be a loss adjuster's report. From that normally depends on the severity of the claim. It can take 3 days, up to 7 days. A decision will then be made. Either a forensic report is still outstanding. Why did the fire start? Okay, you know what? I don't know.
My neighbor's house burnt and mine burnt in the process.
And mine then caught alive, so it's a valid claim. So they check for validity first.
Okay.
They then check the sum insured. So they measure everything. They check that the sum insured is adequate. They then come back to us and they say, right, we're going to either rebuild the client's house or we're going to pay the client X amount. Bank gets the first amount to pay off the bond. And then they start rebuilding. They either start rebuilding or they pay the client out what they call a
So do they
cash in.
use their companies to rebuild?
Predominantly, yes. They've got suppliers that are contracted to them. They've done a whole due diligence behind the scenes on those suppliers to verify that they are ethical, that they belong to certain bodies, etc.
They're not going to take the money and run away.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And then building will commence. The claim will then be resolved. We will then keep in touch with the client, make sure the client's okay. If trauma counselling is required, we will put them in touch with the trauma counsellors, because sometimes it is extremely traumatic. I mean, they might have children that have to get to school. I don't know if their cars have been burnt in the process. So that's quite an intense claim. And that could take a little bit of time to resolve, because it's a big claim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like they're off the hook for making you do all the work. They also have to help.
They also need to help
the broker
us,
who cares, but not your bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So when you say that you have to fight for rights for your customers, what would be an example of we had to fight that? And you said the ombudsman.
So there was that one with the ombudsman. The policy was, we were arguing with the underwriter because the policy had a clause in it, but the clause was not under that particular section. So we took him to the ombudsman. Within 2 weeks, the ombudsman ruled in our favour because they agreed that the policy wording was ambiguous and that clause wasn't under that particular section. And because of that, it was paid.
Okay, awesome. Well, I mean, this was things, I mean, when I was in Canada, they were trying to, I always got extra insurance and my insurance company wouldn't cover, because everyone thinks Canada's healthcare is completely free. It's not. There are some things you absolutely have to pay for. So I had ovarian cyst when I was like 18. So they, actually I had a fight here in South Africa. I forget, it was here in South Africa, sorry, it was not Canada. They refused to cover my internal organs, all of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Because obviously I disclosed that I had an ovarian cyst at one point in my life. So they excluded my entire reproductive system, my everything. And so I remember I called the insurance policy lady that I was dealing with at the time, and I was like, say what now? So basically anything that happens internally to me is not covered at all. Like, that makes zero sense to me. So we had to fight that. But I didn't even know that they had put that condition in until it was my uncle who pointed it out on my policy and saying, are you aware that they're not covering like anything internally?
Wow.
And I was like, wow. So it really pays off to have someone that when you get, because there's always those pre-existing conditions, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what it was under. I had to wait a year for my insurance to kick in, but they sent me a full list of pre-existing conditions, and it was outrageous. Like they excluded my my internal organs, all of my reproductive systems from this whole thing. It was shocking, to say the least.
Was it cancerous or anything?
No,
that's crazy. I would have understood if they said pre-existing condition for ovarian cysts, perhaps. Maybe for
that's what I said. Just exclude the ovaries. But no, they excluded my entire reproductive system.
That's crazy.
It was. And then I had a cesarean during my birth, and that was also put under the same, we can't include anything because you had a cesarean. I was like, what the hell? So I thought, okay, so I never should have gotten. I mean, I actually have to look to see, because they excluded a number of things that we had to fight with them about and prove to them that there was nothing to see here. There was no cancer. Why on earth would you exclude all these things? For absolutely no reason. And thankfully my uncle is in insurance. He does life insurance. He doesn't do health insurance. So he was the one that was actually able to help me on this. So it goes to show, like, you have to have someone in your corner, because I legitimately never would have known that none of that was excluded. And I recently went to hospital about 2 months ago with pains, and it would have not been covered with my hospital stay at all. It's very, very scary.
But Bronwyn, you know what it's like saying to someone, okay, you're sick. Okay, you're sick, so you need to see a doctor. So it's the same with insurance. You know, if you need insurance, you need a broker, because the broker is going to take care of you. You're not going to go to the vet and take out an insurance policy, with all due respect, because the vet is not qualified to actually give you that advice. And if you have not received proper advice, or you've not seen a broker, or your insurer hasn't been in touch with you, that is clearly a red flag that you really need to relook at your insurance.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to do that for sure.
Yeah.
So you have a burning desire to leave a legacy. Beyond the policies, what is the mark you want to leave in the industry and the people that you have served?
You know, I think I'm super passionate about what I do. You know, someone phoned me last night and said, I'm so sorry to phone you so late, but I need insurance urgently. And I'm like, it's really not a problem. I love what I do.
Yeah, it's not a job anymore.
Yeah, it's not a job for me. I'm really very passionate about what I do. But I think the legacy I'd like to leave, one is my family is also involved in the business. My kids in particular, they're super qualified. They're young and dynamic. They also love sport. They also love, they love being in the gyms and doing things. But I would like to leave a legacy that says, InsureSafe Advisors cares about you. We can create product that suits you. We in your corner. We're going to fight for you.
Yeah.
We are real. We are transparent. We are ethical. And we're going to tell you how it is. We're not going to hide behind clauses. We're not going to hide behind other things. We're not going to drop you because you've had a claim. We're not going to leave you because your claim's complex. We're going to hold your hand from the time that you come on board with us to the time that you exit.
But you're looking for lifelong clients.
Absolutely.
You don't want to burn through the South African population of, hey, let's all get insured and then leave and go somewhere else. That lifelong.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So with the schedule that includes running a firm, coaching, training, what is your non-negotiable practice for maintaining your energy and your focus?
I must say, Saturday mornings, clients will not get hold of me.
You turn it off.
That's not negotiable.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings is my time where I go out, I cycle, I do good, fun things for me.
I need boundaries too. I need boundaries so bad. I'm trying to go on Sunday to the Sun City with my son. I keep thinking it's not going to happen, but I need to do it.
You must. You know, someone said to me, if you don't block out that time, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and the biggest reason why I wanted to bring Sophia on, and she might get a little embarrassed by this, but when I first met Sophia, it was at the BNI networking group. And at that point, I already had someone doing my insurance. I already had someone doing my life insurance. And you were I just felt safe with you. In an economy in South Africa where everyone is just looking out for themselves, it is so, so rare to find someone. And you gave me advice completely free. I still don't have my policies with you. But you have always been someone that I've been able to turn to and say, hi, like, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? Including her husband. Like, these guys are just remarkable people. And when you find remarkable people who are running remarkable companies, you start to realize, when I always say to people, have passion for what you do and you'll never have a job or work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And that's why I resonate so much with you, is because you can see the passion, you feel the passion. And I love that you make policies. So I could literally come to you, and we're all used to this in the insurance industry, where they literally say, okay, you have a car, this is what you have to do, and that's it. And that's where they stop. There's no, what's your life like? What's your, like, I have a special needs child. I need to think about, even if I have an education policy, is it enough for him?
Correct.
Because he's not a standard child.
Correct.
And what about if he never is okay after school? I mean, the hope is that he'll be able to have his own life and his own job. But what if he needs to be supported for the rest of his life and something happens to me? Is my life insurance policy enough? And probably at this point, nowhere near enough.
Correct.
So it's just making sure that, and I'm going to say this again, we're not doing Zap Talks just for funsies, let's promote Sophia and go work with her.
Yeah.
We're trying to form a network of extremely trusted individuals. And Sophia's on our platform. We're going to make sure that people understand that there's insurance and then there's insurance.
We
and
are
there's
in the business of building relationships.
Absolutely.
Not building
money. Yeah.
And I believe always, this has always been my philosophy, is the building of relationships is where it starts. The money and everything and the whatever, it comes afterwards. If you have that relationship and you've built that trust with an individual and you have a friendship, that's where it starts.
Well, and I think because you have a friendship with your customers, for instance, if my house had to burn down and I call the insurance company and they're like, oh, no, we're only going to pay out 50%. They couldn't care less about me. They're going to sleep, no problem. But with you building personal relationships and one of your customer calls you, it would devastate you.
Absolutely.
Like you don't want to live with knowing that I gave them the wrong insurance policy. They didn't need that. They needed something else, but that was more money, which is why I pushed them there. It would literally, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Knowing what kind of person you are, it would haunt you.
Absolutely.
And I love meeting people who will always yes, you put yourself first and you take that one day, that one morning off. Good for you. But the fact that you will answer your phone, you will care about your clients, and even people that aren't your clients yet. And especially in a space with insurance. I mean, we're giving people a teeny amount of education right now.
Yeah.
But if you have a broker like Sophia, and it doesn't have to be InsureSafe. I mean, honestly, people do what you guys want. But if you have a broker that is there for education and they want you to understand your policies, they want you to push you to the right policies, those are people we can refer. And then every other company strives to be you.
That's it.
And that's what we're trying to build with ZapHub. You get one person popular that's doing it well. And then the big companies will come and be like, oh, how has Sophia stolen all our business?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's because she truly put in that effort. And we force change by getting the good guys louder than the bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted you on the podcast so much, is because you are a truly good person through and through. And you've had quite the hell of a health life as well. Gonna have you on again to deep dive. Because what I've realized during this conversation is insurance, it's kind of like properties. There's the commercial end, there's the residential end, and then there's reality and practicality.
Correct.
So, I mean, the more I think about insurance, it literally, number one, it's vital. especially in a country where we aren't safe, where things are happening without water, we had no water the other day. It came on. We almost flooded the whole house.
Oh, no.
Because someone left the tap on. And I thought, Lord, it's exhausting to keep up with just municipal issues that happen. So, there's so much we need to deep dive into. Guys, what I'm going to say is if you have insurance questions for Sophia, we have covered such a little amount of what we could cover. Please ask us direct questions. I am going to put Sophia's link to her Zap Hub service provider platform. You can contact her directly.
Lovely.
I'm going to have Sophia look at every single one of my policies because I know for sure when you were asked saying the things that I'm like, no, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. They don't know about that. They don't know about that. We have a new solar thing from my pool that cost me a fortune. Even the pool cover, I don't think any of these things are insured because no one asked me. I got insurance when I bought the house and I've never done anything since it. So it's very scary. Please don't burn my house down. Fingers crossed. So, with regards to my kid and our life, these things are so, so important. And it doesn't have to be as expensive as people think. Because Sophia, if someone came to you and said, I have 1,000 Rand, that's the most I have to spend on insurance a month. Even 500 Rand. You would just say, these are the 5 important things I tell you have to get. This is the budget. This is what we're working with. And that's at least something, right? Whether it's just getting funeral coverage, whether it's getting work coverage. You may not die, but you could seriously break a hand and not be able to work anymore.
Correct.
So it's so important. What do you want to leave us with to know?
Such a difficult question because insurance is so broad. But if I could say one thing, please have a look at your insurance policy. If you have an insurance policy, you have an assist number because if something happens with your home or your contents or
I didn't even know I have an assist number.
You should have an assist number. Please put it on your phone with your policy number so that if something happens in the middle of the night and you need to get help, you can just phone that assist number and they can send someone out.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Absolutely. Find the assist number.
Review your policies, put that assist number on there, most important things.
Well, and if you have questions about potentially overpaying or anything, honestly, get hold of Sophia.
Yeah.
If we find more Sophias, they'll come on the platform, but for now we got one of her. So when we find more Sophias, we'll give you more people, but you have room to talk to lots of people, right?
Absolutely.
We'll just hire more good Sophias. So what we're going to do now is we're going to completely wrap it up with our final game. We do this with every one of our guests. It's called Zap It Out. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds and you're going to either give me a sentence, one word, answer as many of them as you can, and put you under pressure. Okay. So we ready? Okay, here we go. So, a home-based Pilates studio. What comes to mind?
Pilates ball, health, wealth.
Insurance.
Better. Insurance. PR cover.
Vintage piano.
Oh, specify. Antique.
Okay. Cycling gear worth 50,000.
Specify. Under all risks.
Home insurance. Okay. Freelance photographer's camera at a wedding.
Oh, got to get an insurance policy, specify your camera.
Water damage from a burst geyser.
Definitely personal lines, definitely just note the geyser, what type of geyser is and the amount in terms of your potential damage that a leak could cause.
Okay. A client working remotely from Portugal for a month.
Insure the laptop.
Travel insurance?
Can do.
Okay.
Cross-border, as long as they're leaving from South Africa.
Okay. Liability for a netball coach.
Oh, definitely a professional indemnity for fitness professional.
Okay. Newly purchased electric bicycle.
Oh, definitely specify. Those things are super expensive under your personal lines policy.
Theft of a laptop from a random coffee shop.
Again, specify under personal lines, unless it's high net worth.
That could be covered by my health insurance if someone else rubs it somewhere else.
Can be covered by?
So I took her 60 seconds away, whatever, this is serious. So if someone steals my laptop that's insured with my house policy at a coffee shop.
Specified.
Then is it under my house insurance policy,
yes.
The claim?
Yes. But it's got to be contents. You got to have contents in place and your laptop has to be specified. And I won't go into the detail, but there's a little algorithm that they use around the sums insured.
Most important advice for a new business owner.
Get insurance, because if your whole business burns down or gets washed away in a flood, you are starting out new. You don't have capital to invest to replace everything.
It's like number one.
Absolutely.
Business plan, finance, insurance.
Absolutely.
So, Sophia, I want to thank you so much for giving us your words of wisdom. We're definitely going to have you back on, and next time I'm going to help me direct the script of what do people need to know. You're big on education, so we really want to deep dive into, people are going to have tons of questions, but what exactly could we give them for free? So you've shown us shared so much insurance information, but there's much more to come. Want to remind you that again, everything that we're doing here on Zap Hub is about building trust, transparency, and passion. And if you know someone else for me to interview that's exactly like Sophia, which there's one Sophia, but with that passion, this is not a job for them. This is their life, and they're here to do good for the world, leave a legacy for their children so that their children can be proud of. Please let me know. DM us who we can interview next. If you have any comments, add them to the podcast, and we'll get Sophia to answer them. And then look up Sophia on ZapHub. We're going to link her bio in our profile. And everything that we're doing is about protection. So it wouldn't make sense to not have an insurance advisor on our platform, which we're going to have to talk about business insurance for me.
Absolutely.
Oh, I know. There's so much to talk about. And for protecting every part of our ecosystem, from Zap properties to finding vetted professionals like insurance, financial, everything, please check out our platform at zaphub.co.za, where we have ensured that we have insured. Did you see the word? We have vetted every single one of our service providers, and a lot of them I'm personally vetting. So if your service one day disappears, it's because Bronnan's like, nope, I'm good. But that will never happen. So guys, honestly, make sure to check us up, like, subscribe, check us out on all our social medias, and make sure to look up Sophia. It was an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
Bronwyn. It was an honor to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope to hear from all of you.
Yeah, ask her questions, guys. Let's put her on the spot. I mean, no one's asking any of my service providers questions. Like, why? It's free. Do it. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll check you out in the next episode. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Zap hop, yeah, boy, let's go. One hop, one place, now your business grow.